welcome back to the channel. Today we shall be looking at one of our custom-made software, our accounting and asset management system. Okay, remember at Onostar Media we make videos of all of our customized applications and softwares on business and utilities. So today we shall be looking at one of our softwares, which is the accounting management system and also an asset management system. This one in here is an invoicing application. Okay, so let's without wasting much of your time, let's get started. Okay, so most of our applications are web-based and everyone has to log in to get access, right? So I'm logging in as an admin. Right now that I've logged in, so this is my dashboard basically. So what we should be doing today, we shall basically be looking at a demo, just a summary of how the accounting system works, right? So the accounting system actually works in different ways. We have this one. The demo I'm going to do for you today is basically for invoicing. However, we have accounting system for sales, for production, and all of that. So remember, we'll customize our software for our clients based on their demand, based on their requirements. Okay, so in this case, we shall be looking at the invoicing system and how the accounting system works. So we also have the asset management system embedded in it. So basically, this is our dashboard. When you log into the system, this is what you see as an accountant or as a owner of the business. You see this, right? So at the dashboard here, we have the first one, your monthly receipt, that is money that comes in monthly. We have your vendor payables, that's the vendors you are owing. You have your monthly expenses, your expenses you made monthly. So you see currently it's showing 60,000 naira. Then we have your receivables, which are those your customers that are owing you, right? So if I click on monthly receipts, it does take me to a page to show me the monthly receipts for the current day. So today now there's nothing, but this is for the month, right? So vendor payable shows you all the vendors that you are owing, your monthly expenses, so and also your receivables, those that are owing. So you can see receivables here, you see people that are owing you there. So you can view to see which how are the invoices these persons have bought over time. You can view to see all of the invoices. Okay, you can even click on each of the invoices to see what this person have bought from you. So let's go further. So we're still looking at the dashboard. If you go further, you see our daily accountants here, which shows you, it gives you a report of all of your daily transactions, right? It shows you everything you are doing on a day, all the invoices you are giving to clients on a day-to-day basis, right? The monthly statistics, this shows in terms of revenue, the money that comes in every month, so you can compare each month to another. If this is a graph plot against the amount on each month. So you can see October 2024, the total money received here was about 6 million, or 601 million rand. So November here and December and so on and so forth. So even when you scroll down, we have your monthly income in terms of money inflow. So the last one we got here is April 2025, we had 500 million naira. Okay, let's move on. So without further ado, let's now look at the menus. On the left, we have menus here. We have different menus on the accounting system. First, we have the admin menu. So the system is, first of all, we need to know the system is a right-based system where you can give rights to your staff. So you can create your staff, you can give them rights. When I say rights, I mean functionalities. So a staff may have one function while another staff may not have that function. You can also decide to remove function from a staff. So under the admin menu, there are things you could do. You could create a user by entering their full name, enter the username, select their role. You just want them to be an accountant, a sales rep, cashier, inventory officer, just like that. Then you select the store. Why are we selecting store? Because this system, the accounting system, helps manage multiple locations. So with one software, you can use one software in multiple locations. It's just for you to switch your locations to see what's going on in that location. So you don't need multiple logins for different locations. Just one software can connect all of them, all of your offices together. You can see everything at a go, right? So you can also disable a user. Maybe that user, you don't want that person to have access to the software anymore. You can reset their password. Maybe they forgot their password, right? Then moving further, the other things you could do here, you can edit, you can create your customer and edit your info. You can merge your customer files. Maybe you created the customer twice, right? Maybe with different names, but it's supposed to be the same customer. Then you can merge their files, right? Okay, you enter the correct name, enter the wrong name, and you merge. You can merge it. That's for the admin menu. Then we have the purchase menu. The purchase menu is where you purchase your items. This is where you purchase your items. You know, when you create an invoice and someone comes in, after creating an invoice, or maybe you're making a sale, probably you obviously need to purchase some items you will use for that job, right? So the purchase menu helps you keep track of your purchases, your payments, and every other thing that has to do with your purchases. Let's see how it works. So first of all, we let's see, we have our receipt purchases. So when you click on receipt purchase, you go to purchase date, the date of the purchase. You cannot put a futuristic date. Put in the invoice number. Then you select the supplier name. So let's say I'm just okay, let's say Dolphin Manufacturing LLC. So if the supplier is not there, you can come to add supplier to create your the supplier, right? Let's say XYZ Limited. Put in the contact name. Let's say James John. Their phone number, email address is not there. Put. So you go back to receive purchases. Select the purchase date. Put in the invoice number. Select the supplier. I think it's XYZ created. Click on it. Then you put the description of the items bought. Let's say you bought in CCTV cameras without voice. Let's say you bought 10. So at the cost of, let's say, at the cost of 50,000. Please, when entering numbers, please don't add a comma. So it enters immediately into the database. There's no need that comma, just enter the numbers. So we have CCTV. So let's add another one. Let's see, we have RG59 cable with power. That's CCTV cable with power. So we have, let's say, 1 drum at the cost of 85,000. So if the person has supplied, let's say connectors, let's say BNC connectors and DC plugs, for example. Let's say we have 30 at the rate of 500 naira. So when you look at it now, you go there and you see the total. This is the thing the person has supplied you. So total 600,000. So at the bottom, if there is way bill or freight, let's say the person supplied you with, and you spend some amount of money in transporting this thing, or the person added it to his bill. The person you purchased it from added way bill and freight to the bill. So you put in that way bill and freight there. Let's say 5,000 naira. You click on post token, then you're done for that particular invoice. If you have other invoices, you can come back and continue the same process. Okay, now you've received that item. After receiving that item, if you go to purchase report, you see all of the report of all the items if you've received. You see here total goods purchases 100,000, total logistics 5,000 naira. You can even see other reports like purchase per vendor, which in this case you can select a date range and select a vendor to see all what you have purchased from that vendor over time. So you see, once you click on it, search, it will give you a report of all your purchases from that particular vendor, right? So now we received the purchase, but it has not hit our account ledgers because we have not posted the payment. So how do we post the payment for that invoice? Here goes our financial management. Now before we post that payment, let's first of all look at our account ledgers, our chart of accounts rather. So under our chart of account, we've already created most of the ledgers that we believe all accounting system wants, but you can further create. Here we have our account groups, which are basically 5 account groups where you have your assets, your liabilities, income, expenses, and equity. If you want to add more subgroup under each of them, you can create, but I'm sure you've created most of them that you all need, even the account classes. So we have a account classes. For example, we have under assets, you can select current asset or fixed asset. For current assets, we have your cash and your bank equivalent and your custom and your trade receivables. While for fixed assets, we are looking at your lands and the properties and all that. So if you go to account ledgers, let us look at it carefully. Let's say you want to create a new ledger. You click on account ledger, select group. Let's say we're creating an asset. Select which of the group current assets. Now you see these are the current assets. We have trade receivables, inventories, bank, and cash. So let's say we are creating bank. Come here, put the account ledger. Right. Let's say Access Bank, for example. You click on save record. So Access Bank has been created. So Access Bank now has a ledger which your system automatically creates an account number for it. So if it's let's say it's an expense you're creating, you just select expenses, select the group operating, cost of essence, let's operating expense. So in here, is it admin and general expense or other expense? So you click on admin and you put in the expense. That's how you create your ledgers. So if you click on view chart of account, you can see all of the ledgers we've created so far. You can see all of them here, right? So you see the one we just created, current asset, bank, and access bank here. So we created most of the ledgers here that you may need. You can also update your ledger. Maybe you made a mistake while creating it, you can come and update it, put in the ledger. Let's say the access bank we just created. You click on it, select the appropriate group, or maybe it's the name you want to adjust. You just adjust and click on update details, right? So these are the ledgers here. Now let's go back to make payment for that purchase we made. We'll go back to financial management. So when you go to financial management, you click on post purchases. When you click on post purchases, you see in here you click on view. You see all the purchases you made for the day. You can use the date range to maybe select the purchases. Maybe the purchase is not today, so it will not show today's on this report. Only show today's purchases. So you can use this date range to go back to search for excuse me, the one you're looking for. So you click on view and it shows you everything that you're purchasing. You see the invoice amount, you see freight/logistics, it gives you the total amount you're paying for that. So you select your payment type. Is it full payment or it's on credit? So let's say it's full payment. Once I click on full payment, you have to select your credit ledger. So which account are you paying from? So let's say we are paying from Stanbic IBTC Bank. So I click on post purchase. Once I click on post purchase, that purchase has been cleared off. Okay, so it hits the ledger is supposed to. Let's look at it. Let's now go to financial report. When we go to financial report, there is a whole lot of reports here. So the first one I want us to look at here is the cash flow. If you look at cash flow now, we have so you know cash flow there are three major the departments in the cash flow. In the cash flow statement, there are three major activities where we have your operations activities. So you see here we have purchases 605,000, cash paid for purchases 605,000. That's your cash flow. We have cash received for customers under the operations. If you go further, we have for investing activities such as the sales of assets and the purchase of assets like lands, your cars and all that. So then if you go down, we have your financing activities like your insurance of loans, your director's contribution, purchase of stocks, payment of loans and all of that. So you see all of them here. So at a glance you are looking at your cash flow to see, okay, get what you're spending money for and what is giving you money. That's a cash flow statement. Then also if you go down, we have our yearly income statement. Our income statement is both yearly and daily. So for the yearly income statement, it compares the current year with the previous year. At a glance, you see, okay, this is the revenue for this year, 750,000, and last year we made a revenue of 3 billion naira. So other revenue like this for this year now, other revenue such as gain from disposal of your assets, you see here we have 16,000 naira. Last year there was no other revenue. So we have our cost of goods sold here. So because we just purchased that item we're using, we are going to use it immediately. But if it were to be for sales, it is until you sell before it hits the cost of goods sold ledger. Until you sell the item, it will not come to the ledger. But this one, since we are using it directly for an invoice, so we're supposed to make the invoice before that. So like I said, we create our accounting software, we'll customize it based on what our customer, how they operate. And so you tell us how you operate, then we customize it for you. Okay, so in here, so this is the gross profit as for this year so far, and this was the gross profit for last year, 2024. So we have our operating expenses here, where for this year so far 10,000. Last year we had an operating expense of 1,292,629 naira. So you can even click on the admin expense to see. Under admin expenses, you can click further to see what made up these admin expenses for this year so far. Okay, then moving further, we have other things such as for example, we have MD's children's school fees here. This is also under admin expense. So you can see all of them. So we have loss of disposal from assets, a whole lot of things here. Depreciation also, that's part of your income statement. You see the depreciation, we've done depreciation for an asset this year already. So we have earnings, total expenses 136,000. So earnings before tax, right? So now the earnings before tax is 30,000. Now once we add tax, it means we are not even owing the company. So this is just for the okay. So your net profit, you are running at loss as it is right now. Okay, so let's move on. So in here we have our yearly income statement. We also have our daily income statement as well, which is here. Click on income statement. So in this case, it just shows you your income statement for the day. So you can select dates where maybe you want to see for a month or a particular period. I can select from 1st of February down till date. It gives you your income statement so far for that particular period selected. So going further, we also have other reports such as let's be looking at the other reports. When we go back to the invoicing, then we shall look at some other reports here. So I just want us to check out the basic ones first. So we've seen your yearly income statement, we've seen your cash flow. Now let's look at our financial position. So the financial position, you select a year and you get the financial position. So you see your current financial position. So for yearly financial position, it always compares to the previous year. So for 2025, our property and equipment is currently 0. So you see here, but I think we did some sales, that's why everything is. We bought equipment and we sold it. Okay, cash and cash equivalents, you can see here. Account receivables, you can see what we have. You can click on each account to expand. These are the account class, so to expand to see each ledger. So you can click on each of the bank to see what actually transpired in that account. So if I click on Stanbic IBTC, it shows me everything that has occurred on this account within this particular year. So you see, if you select, you see everything here, all the transactions that has occurred in that particular account. So if you move further, we have you see our total asset here, 610 for this year, and this is the previous year. If you go further, you see our equity here, equity capital. You check everything, you can retain earnings, all of that. So your financial position shows you all of this, your current position for the year, where we have current liabilities and all of that. So we also have yearly financial position. We also have a monthly financial position, which compares the month selected against the previous month. Let's say I select April 2025, so it compares it to the previous month, which is March 2025 as well. So we also have our trial balance. For every transaction you post for the current day, you see everything here, right? So we post 600, total debit 605, total credit 605. You can also use a date range to select. Let's say I want to see all of my trial balances between yesterday and today, so it shows here, which you see both of them are equal. Now let's quickly look at the invoicing. So to create an invoice, since we are looking at the invoicing part in this application, you click on new invoices. You can click on view invoice to see all of the invoices posted for the day. You can select the date range. Let's say I see between on the 1st till date. Let's see all of the invoices that I have posted so far. So it shows you all of your invoices, right? So now when you check, you can view to see, okay, what that invoice contains. You can see we have supply of diesel for this particular one to the customer. You see the total the person is supposed to pay. So let's create a new invoice. If I click on new invoice, let's see, so we have to put in the customer's name. If the name of the customer is not there, you click on add new customer. Let's say we have a customer. Let's see, the customer is not here at all. I think we created the customer some days ago. Let's see, let's look at view invoice. Okay, let's just create a new customer for the sake of demo. Click on add new customer. Let's see, John Smith International Company, something like that. It's a fictitious company. So you're putting a number 1, 2, 3, 4, just like that. Address, let's say Harcourt, just like that. Email address, we put the email address. I don't have any now. Okay, so let's go back to create an invoice for these people. So I say John Smith, International Company. So you put in your invoice number if you want to. Now the system generates a reference number, a unique number for every invoice you create. However, some clients will design for them. Some of them, they say they also want to enter their invoice number manually. If you don't want that, system can generate a manual invoice number for you. Then we have a service order number. If you don't want that, you can remove it, but if you want to put it, you put in there. So put in the description. The description are the items you want to enter. So assuming it were to be like a sales accounting system, it is the items, you have to create the items of the system, then you start entering them. Once you select the name, it comes out from your inventory and you add. But in this case here, it's an invoicing application, so you don't really have a database of items that you have on ground. So in this case, you can enter the items manually. So for example, what are the things, the description? Remember we bought CCTV items, so that means this customer wants CCTV, wants to install CCTV in his compound. Let's say, so we have our installation. So most people that are doing services can basically use this. So installation, installation of CCTV system. Okay, so the quantity, what's the quantity? Let's say it's 1. So agreed amount, so how much are you paying? So you've done your agreed amount plus the things you are buying and everything, and the service charge, so the total, let's see, or maybe this is for the service. If you want to add the items you are buying as well to it, no problem. So let's say everything, it's since it's an invoicing system, so you can see the agreed, let's say the service, the installation is 400,000. Let's say the installation fee is 400,000. Then maybe you are still adding all that you want customer to see, that is like maybe the cameras you are buying. Let's say CCTV cameras. Invoice, you can put in the price you want to put here, but it's different from the price you are buying. If you want to put the same price, no problem. Let's say you are buying 10 at a rate of, let's say, 30,000. You are also adding connectors. Say connectors 30 at a rate of 200 naira. You add that, then RG59 cables with power, So you're buying one at the rate of 50,000. So if you want the customer to see all of this, you add all of that, right? So as you add it, you see the total amount here, which is 756,000 here. You see the total. So at the end of the day, this is the transaction date. You can backdate it if you want to backdate it. You cannot add date. You cannot put in a futuristic date. So you put in a PO number if you want to put in. If you want us to remove all of this, we can remove it. So here's the due date. Due days. So due date is in days. You can put 30 days, 90 days, 60 days, as long. So this is how many days this invoice will be due. The customer can make payment immediately, but if he doesn't want to. Okay, so I click on due days and I post and print. So at this point now we can now send the invoice. You can print the invoice and send to the customer. So you see it carries your logo, the name of your company, the invoice number, due. You see the date. You see the due date of the invoice based on, we said 30 days, so it could be 30. It will be due on 17th of May. The reference number, the invoice number, who it is being billed to, right? Shows you everything just like that there. Okay, so if you want us to further customize this, we can also customize to suit the way you work. So now we've sent that invoice. You can view the invoice. You see the invoice we posted for today now. John Smith, total amount, the transaction date, the due date, and all that. So if you click on view, it shows you everything inside the invoice. You can reprint it if you want to reprint it. Okay, so if you click on due invoices, for example, these are invoices that are due already. So they have been due, maybe they've not made payment, and because they have not made payment, that's why it's still here. Invoices that are due, so you can clear them from here once you make payment. Okay, so now let's move on. Then now we've submitted that invoice. Now let's look at how we manage our. Let's say that customer makes payment for that invoice. How do you post the payment? You just come to financial management. This is where the main accounting now starts from. Okay, so now we only generate an invoice, right? But we will not make payment, right? So if you go up, so there's no payment. We've only generated an invoice 17th of February. We have an invoice 756,000 that we've gotten given to customer. So if you go to financial management now, let's say customer makes payment. I click on customer payment. You see John Smith is here. Account balance is 756,000. Because it's red, that means once it's red, it means the person is owing you, right? So if I click on this pencil sign, you see minus 750,000, that's what it's owing. So I come here, put in the amount. Let's say it pays that exact amount, or let's say it pays 500. Of that, let's say pay 450,000. Please remember, not come out. So you select the mode of payment. Was it cash? Let's say transfer. So which of the bank did you transfer to? Alright, so you select, let's say Stanbic IBTC, or that our Access Bank, right? So you put in a description of that payment. So let's say being part payment for invoice. So once you post this payment, what happens is that the system automatically subtracts. So if you can view the invoice, you see, okay, see the account balance now is now 306,000. They paid 450,000 for invoice. So the customer's bill can be accumulating. So whenever they make payment, the system subtracts that automatically from their bill. So if you go back, you click on customer payments again, you see now bill has been reduced to 306,000. If we go back to our dashboard now, you see what we have here now. We have 500,000 this month. We have made 500,450,000, right, so far. Okay, if you look now, our receivables have increased by 450,000 naira. Okay, so if you click on the receivables now, you should see the name of John Smith. John Smith is owing us 306,000 naira. So we've posted that payment. That's how you post customer payment. If you go back to our financial report, if you go back to our income statement, you see now we have revenue 756, cost of goods sold is 100,000, right? So however, if you go to our cash flow, which is money received, if you go to cash flow, you click on cash flow, you see total amount. The customers paid 450,000, purchases. You see the system is capturing all of this. Even when you go to your what's it called, your financial position, you click on yearly financial position, you see all of that, right? If you check your account receivables, you see all of the customers that are owing. You see we have John Smith here is owing us 306,000. You can click on it to show you a transaction with John Smith. So you see we have a general revenue customer invoice 756,000, Access Bank. So they paid 450,000 into our Access Bank so far. Okay. Alright, so that's for that. So if you still on our account, the financial report, if you look at the transfer payment, these are payments that are made via transfer. If you go further, we have our customer statement in here. You can select a customer to show you all the transactions you've done with that customer over time. So let's say John Smith, for example. Click on it to show you all the transactions. You see so far these are the transactions you have done, and also the payments this customer has made. Likewise, vendor statement to show your vendors what the transactions between you and your vendors. Okay, so we also have our vendor statement, like I said. So we have our trial balance. We've looked at that already. So we have asset posting. We shall look at our assets lastly now, and before we round up. Okay, so loans received, there's a whole lot of reports here. So now having looked at the invoicing, let's quickly look at other financial management here. So we've seen how to post customer statements, right? So we've post purchases, vendor payment. That should you be owing your vendors and you want to make payment for it as well. So we have your post fixed asset. We shall look at that, but let's look at other transactions, like post other transactions. Here you can post loans. So you select the loan type. If you are borrowing or you are making a repayment. So if you are borrowing, you select the date of borrowing, put the amount. Let's say we borrow 3 million, from which select your financier, which bank is supplying that money. So we put in the name of, let's say, from First Bank. Select which loan account, is it long-term loans or short-term? Let's say this is long-term loans. And select which select the contract ledger, which account is receiving the money. Let's say we're paying it into our First Bank account as well. So if we can put just a description here, let's say loan received from First Bank or so. Then click on post transaction. Now you've received the loan. If you want, maybe you want to pay for that loan, you still come through here as well. You select the date. This time it's repayment. If you're not paying all at once, maybe you are paying part of it, you put the amount that you are paying. Then select it, how much you are paying. And you select that same the financier. Select the loan terms. This one is long-term loan. Then you select which account are you paying from. Which account are you paying from? You have to select it so that the system will do the appropriate subtraction and addition. Okay, select which account you are paying the money from, then you post it. Okay, so that's for loans. Then we also have directors transactions, like maybe director remunerations or director contribution. So you put in there and select the appropriate account. We have loan fees, bank charges, taxes, and all that. So let's say you have loan fees, maybe the fees that are attached to your loans, or bank charges. Let's post a bank charge, for example. Let's have a bank charge of 10,000 naira. Select the ledger. Let's say we have bank charges. Then select where you're paying from. Let's say we're paying from Access Bank. You can put a description there and you post your transaction. If you also want to post your tax, this is where you also post your taxes. As you select tax, put in the amount and all that. Then we have other transactions, like probably maybe you want to move money from one account to another, or you want to do some credit and debit within two accounts. For example, Access Bank, you select if it is debit or credit, you put in the contract ledger, then you put in the amount. That's it. Okay, then also you can also post your opening balance. When you want to start using the software, open an account, you can post in the opening balance, like your equity, your equity capital, maybe your different account ledgers. You can post in their opening balance there as well. So moving further, let's now look at our assets. Before we post the assets, we need to also create the assets. So let's look at the asset management quickly. So for the asset management, we have different things here. You can add your asset location. You can add a new asset and click on your asset register. So our asset register, now we don't have any asset currently. So if we click on add new asset, you can add the asset here. Let's see, we have let's say Toyota Venza quantities. We bought one, let's say it's one. So the manufacturer, the supplier, the person who bought it, let's say Okesi Motors, for example, put in the purchase date. Let's say we bought this on the March 24, 2025. The asset cost, how much did you purchase this vehicle? Let's say we purchased it at the rate of 7 million. Please remember, I don't add a comma. So we have the service value. So how much do you think it will be at the end of its useful life, right? So let's say we can sell this at 2 million. That's the service value. So the useful life, let's look at 5 years, right? So the deployment date now is the date you start using it. Let's say it's on the 1st of April, right? So you select the location, where you are allocating this vehicle for. Let's say head office, procurement. If there's the location is not here, you can create it. Let's say I put in procurement, or let's just say head office, right? So select asset accounts, it's land and building, office equipment, motor vehicles. So obviously it's motor vehicles. So you put in the specification, for example, like white Toyota Venza with 4 seats, blah blah blah, just like that. So you save your record. Now we've created this asset, but it's not fully part of our account books until we make payment for it. But if you click on asset register, you see it there. You can view to see much information about total cost. The current book value is still 7 million because we've not done depreciation on it, right? So you can allocate the asset to anywhere you want to allocate it to. You can change the locations. You can also dispose the asset. If I click on view, you see we've disposed some assets before. So you can dispose the asset only if you have made payment for it. That's when you can dispose it. Then you can also delete the asset. If you can delete asset that you have not made payment for, but once we make payment for it, yes, you cannot delete it. So how do we make payment? We'll now go back to our financial management. Is the accountants. You come here, you click on post fixed assets. So see the date, you see the asset that have not been posted, that have not been made payment. Once you make payment for it, it will be cleared off here. So you see automatically select its ledger. So which account are you paying from? Let's say our Stanbic IBTC. So you payment for asset purchase and you click on post asset. Once you click on post asset, if you click on it again, post fixed asset, you see now it's no longer there. It has been posted. And now that we have made payment for it, if we go back to our asset management, if you go to try to delete it, you see there's nothing there. But if you click on dispose now, we can now dispose of this asset. You can dispose assets in 2 ways. Either you select your reason, either you're scrapping it, you're not using it again. Obviously when you scrap an asset, you are going to make a loss. However, if you sell an asset, you can either make, if you sell an asset, you can either make a loss or gain, right? You can make a loss if the you can make loss depending on the amount you sold it. Now when selling an asset, we also look at depreciation. If it has been depreciated, system does the appropriate calculation. If there's no depreciation on it, it also does the calculation on it as well. So if you sell this asset, system does what it's supposed to be. Let's look at depreciation. Let's post depreciation for this asset, monthly depreciation. So we go to financial management, you click on post depreciation. So you can only post depreciation for an asset yearly. Once you've done depreciation for this asset, you can no longer do it anymore. So if I come to here, so this is motor vehicles, I post this. So if I try to post depreciation for this asset again, it will tell me that depreciation has been posted for this asset already for the current year, so it will not go through. Okay, so having done that, the next thing we are supposed to do now, we'll post depreciation for that asset. If you look at there are reports for all of this. If we discard this asset now, let's assume we want to dispose of this asset, we go to asset management, you click on dispose assets, you click on this. If you select your reason for disposal, let's say scrap or sold, if you say it was sold, you select which account did you receive the money in from. So you select the amount, how much was it sold. So let's say we now sold it for 5 million naira. Let's say we sold it for 5 million naira. So we click on dispose. Asset has been disposed, so that asset is no longer in our register. Now let us look at some of our reports. Let's go to our financial reports now. So if we look at your income statement, we have other revenues. So there's no gain from disposal of asset. Rather, I think we actually made a loss from disposal of assets. So you see loss from asset disposal, we lost 1 million naira. After calculating the depreciation and everything, maybe the amount we sold it for, we lost 1 million naira from that. Probably the depreciation calculated is 1 million. So let us look at the depreciation report, so we actually know what we are doing. If you click on the depreciation report, you see the assets. So we did depreciation for Venza, cost 7 million, useful life 5. The accumulated depreciation is actually 1 million naira. So the book value is 6 million. So we sold it for 5 million. So therefore we lost 1 million naira, right? So that's for that. That was why we're seeing that loss. So also going further, if you look at the trial balance, everything should be in shape. We have our cash flow, which shows you income, outflow, inflow. So you see sales of assets 5 million, purchase of assets 7 million. So you see loans here, we collected 3 million naira for loans. Okay, so that's about it on the accounting system. Like I said, we customize to suit what your requirements are. If you have any question, you can put it in the comment section, or you can contact us on our website or via WhatsApp. We'll always get back to you. So remember, we design customized software solutions for all of our customers, cut across accounting, sales and inventory systems for supermarket, pharmacies and retail stores, for laboratories, for hospital management systems, hotels, lounge. Whatever business you do, there's always a software customized to suit your need. So thank you so much for watching this video. Do want to subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you don't miss out on any of our latest videos. So thank you so much for watching.